Hey there, it's Kenzie from Details to Enjoy, and today I'm going to be making the kits from our September and October Vignette subscription box. I'm going to be starting off with painting everything, and the first color I'm using is Silky White by Behr. I'll be using a detail brush to paint white onto the letters of Cozy Autumn Days. To help prevent getting paint over onto the edges of the letters, I'm making sure to have very little paint on my brush. I always leave the edges of my letters black, but you could also paint them, or you could even spray paint these letters to get into all of the nooks and crannies. Once I'm done with my first coat, I'm just going to add a quick second coat. Using more of that silky white paint, I'm going to be color washing my size B insert. For this, I'm going to need some water and a painting sponge, and the first thing I need to do is rehydrate my sponge. Then using my sponge, I'm going to get a few drops of water to mix into my paint. Once my paint is watered down, I'm going to use my sponge to apply the paint to my insert in a circular motion. I want to make sure that the texture of the MDF is showing through the paint, so if my paint is too opaque, I'll need to add a little bit more water, and if it's too transparent, I can add some paint. Then using a clean part of the sponge, I'm going to blend out any harsh lines. It works best if the sponge is a little bit damp. Next, I'm going to paint my size A insert in Dark Cherry Mocha by Glidden. For this, I want a nice solid coat, so I'm not going to be watering down my paint. Once that is dry, I'll add a second coat. For my leaves, I'm going to be using Lucky Penny, Russian Olive, Amber Brew, and Dark Cherry Mocha. I'm going for a slightly watercolor look with some variation in color, so I have some water and my detail brushes. This is where you can really have some fun, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. I used a mixture of having a wet brush, having a dry brush, mixing water into the paint, and I just brushed this onto my leaves and had fun with playing with color. I started off with my orange and red with one brush, and I didn't worry too much if the colors mixed. I used a paper towel to blot off any excess moisture and paint. Like I said, there's really no right or wrong way to do this, so just have fun and use any colors that you like. If you do get any paint pooled up in the engraved lines, you can use a tack to remove that excess paint. I ended up not having too much of that because my paint was so watered down. Once everything is dry, I can sand everything. So I'm going to be using one sponge for my leaves, one for my dark insert, and one for my white pieces. To smooth out the finish, I will sand with the block flat against the piece, and to add some distressing, I will use the block at about a 45-degree angle on the edges. Once everything has been sanded, I will wipe away any excess dust with a clean, dry paper towel. Now it's time to put everything together. First, I'm going to center my Cozy Autumn Days template onto the insert and hold it in place with some washi tape. Then I'm going to use the peel and stick adhesive backing to attach the letters to my insert. I'll place each letter into the center of the cutout on the template, and then I'll press down to make sure it's stuck. Once everything is placed and secure, I can peel up my template. Then I will just repeat the same process for my leaves insert. And there are both projects done. I can put the Cozy Autumn Days into my 6x6 frame and the Autumn Leaves into my 8x10 frame. If you create your own versions of these kits, we'd love to see them, so be sure to share pictures on social media and tag us. We're Details to Enjoy on Instagram and Facebook.